Climate change is a real problem our world is facing, and humanity is seeing the impacts of it in ecosystems all over the world. It affects every piece of life on our planet, with cascading effects that impact different ecosystem services and cycles. A result of warming mountains is geological processes speeding up due to the increase in temperature. This, in addition to greater rainfall, can lead to enormous chunks of stone dislodging from the sides of mountains, causing landslides. Mountains are the most vulnerable ecosystem to temperature changes, having especially varied landscapes throughout their surface. As temperature rises, the natural processes of each segment of a mountain is disturbed, causing changes downhill. Soil is the backbone of what defines each part of the ecosystem, determining what plants grow, which determines the primary consumers can live, and so on. All surface freshwater in the world accumulates in rivers, ponds, and lakes. These bodies of water start as rainwater runoff, flowing down mountain faces as streams. As runoff trickles over the ground, nutrients and debris from the soil is collected in the water. In healthy water systems, this runoff accumulates as sediment. However, with the temperature increases in mountains, the soil health and quality has been deteriorating. This in turn reflects the water quality of our freshwater systems, which can lead to a variety of issues such as cloudy rivers blocking sunlight from reaching lake vegetation, or warmer waters that affect the development of species of fish. Also, mountains account for the source of 50% of all drinking water. Soil quality and water quality are connected, as soil with poor stability will lead to water being poorly filtered.
The Earth's soils are a significant carbon sink and have been absorbing more carbon as a result of the increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This excess carbon in soils and the atmosphere allows for plants to perform more photosynthesis, thus increasing the ecosystem's net primary productivity. With such an increase in net primary productivity comes an increase in available organic matter, which can be decomposed and incorporated into the soil. However, this apparent increase in the carbon-holding capacity of soils is outweighed in montane ecosystems by an increase in the rate at which microbial organisms decompose organic matter and respire. This increased microbial activity is a result of higher global temperatures. The efflux of carbon dioxide from respiring roots, microbes, and fungi in the soil leads to an increase in atmospheric carbon levels, perpetuating this global warming cycle. A study conducted in the German Alps recorded this loss by the soil. Two sets of data connected global warming to a 14% decrease in topsoil organic carbon content over the past 3 decades. The most severe reductions in organic carbon were observed in areas with relatively high carbon stocks to begin with a reduction of 32% on average. The two sets of data in these tables show this overall decrease in organic carbon in soils. The increased microbial activity also creates an abundance of nitrogen in the soil. These nutrient imbalances decouple carbon, phosphorus, and nitrogen cycles and pose a threat to the plants they host. Specifically, increasing temperatures and nitrogen availability may alter the plant life found at higher elevation as species at lower elevations advance to higher elevations and outcompete those species in fragile alpine ecosystems. According to Michael Bahn, climate scientist at the University of Innsbruck, Austria, altering plant life and diversity could set off an ecological disaster, threatening other organisms such as insects and birds that rely on said plant life.
One of the easiest ways in which carbon dioxide can be removed from the atmosphere is by restoring existing forests. It is a known fact that trees and other plant life help remove carbon dioxide from the air, yet the average person does not help contribute to replanting plants. One action that is being done to help plants is a group of highly recognized YouTubers under the name of Team Trees. This group has a goal to raise $20 million and plant 20 million trees by January 1st, 2020. All proceeds collected go to the Arbor Day Foundation, which plans to plant over 100 million trees over the next 5 years. One of the most effective ways in removing CO2 from the atmosphere and thus reducing global warming is a process called ocean afforestation, which is a proposal for farming seaweed on a mass scale. Seaweed is a fast-growing plant that takes up no space on land, and if we just afforested just 9% of the ocean, we could sequester 53 billion tons of CO2 each year. This approach takes efficient ways for growing and harvesting, carbon capture and storage, and gas separation, but can be effective mode for tackling climate change.
With global temperatures rising as predicted, mountain soils will need to brace for impact. Soil metabolism will rise in higher elevations, decreasing the amount of nutrients in the soils and throwing natural cycles out of loop. The health of mountain soils impacts the health of all ecosystems downhill, and global warming threatens the health of mountain soils to the point where if action is not taken now, mountain ecosystems may be damaged for good.